Thank you. I thought nobody would know who I was.
Jeff, do you need the clicker?
Yeah. I need the clicker. So I'm Jeff McDonald. I am one of the original team members that helped to launch the NIM protocol, and I'm also one of the members that made the foundation. NIM is worth around $3 billion today. It's been really successful in Asia. It's almost not heard of in America. I have now moved back to America, and I'm trying hard to spread the awareness and get more news out. I'm also the CTO of LuxTag.io. We have a company that did not do an ICO, but builds products on the blockchain to do supply chain management. It's already a profitable and successful company. Yay! Puerto Rico, right? So I'm here because I believe in Brock's vision. The idea of coming into Puerto Rico and taking a place that looks like this and turning it into a place like this is what I've always wanted to do. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Africa long before I got into blockchain, and I believe that we really can make a difference. The amazing thing about Puerto Rico is that for the first time ever, we have a chance with cryptocurrency to move into an area in a planned manner and really take over the market. Bitcoin starts off, and we have one guy in Paris selling pizzas and another guy in New York driving taxis, and there's not a network density. There's not a planned attack to take over an area and make Bitcoin accepted. And we've had a lot of blockchains that have come since then, NIM being one of them, right? And they all kind of do so-so, right? But in Puerto Rico, we have a really big chance to make a difference. So, all right, I figured it out. Oh, no, I didn't. The important thing that we need to remember in Puerto Rico is to be... Can I go back one? Yeah. Is to be decentralized, but also organized. And this is a really big problem that most projects have failed at. Everybody is trying to be decentralized, and they end up being disorganized. There's a lot of disorganization. And that means that people are not efficient. It means communities are fighting. It means that nobody's deploying real products. The great thing about Puerto Rico is it's such a small area, and if we get enough of us together and we make a movement, we can go down there and we can seriously change the world. Now, how are we going to become organized? Well, we need two things. Obviously, we need a good leader, we need a good plan, and from what I've seen so far, we are well on our way. I ask difficult questions, and Brock has been very good at answering my difficult questions. That's one of the reasons why I support his vision in this. But we also need a blockchain. So, what does the blockchain really do? How can we help out Puerto Rico? It does three things very well. The blockchain is going to allow us to go into Puerto Rico and find areas where there was no trust and to bring trust. It's going to allow us to go in and find areas where there's no security and bring security, and it's going to allow us to go in and make markets where the markets were being underserved. And we can start off with cryptocurrency, but we can move on to other things: identification, property titles, voting, registrations. All of this can be put on the blockchain as this kind of new kind of decentralized database. So how many people are looking to actually build on the blockchain in Puerto Rico? How many people want to build something nice? Do you want an easy blockchain? Do you want something that's wonderful to build on? If you do, I would like to introduce you to what we have in NIM. Come on. We all stand over here. NIM does things a little bit different. A lot of platforms are going to allow you to put a smart contract inside like a virtual machine or deploy something. NIM, it's super easy. We have this really smart native database, or this database that's natively smart. It takes 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes, to make a cryptocurrency in NIM. We also have built-in, click, a built-in certificate system. You can notarize documents, you can make property titles. We have voting built in, we have identification, namespaces, domains built into the native ledger. Our ledger can even, with advanced applications built on top of it, support the IoT. So it's all here. Now, the really cool thing about this is we have a new version of NIM. It's codenamed Catapult, and it's built like this. I'm not going to go too much into the tech, but if you are a techie, if you're a developer, you'll probably get this really quickly. There's a one server layer that does core or peer-to-peer transactions. And look, everybody's done that so far. But one of the huge innovations of NIM is to now make a second server, which takes all this information here, which is not usually formatted in a very easy way, put it in a MongoDB and give lots of APIs. So developers love this. Developers love having everything in a MongoDB and an API server connected to it. It is super easy. Then on top of that, we give SDKs, JavaScript, Java, C#, TypeScript. Basically, even if a JSON RESTful API is too difficult, we give developers really easy ways to build on. I like to say that NIM is like the Apple of the blockchain world. And the reason why I say that is when Apple first made their iPhone, they gave developers APIs, they gave developers SDKs. And even a simple developer can build an application and launch it on an iPhone. A first-year developer at a university can do that. And it's the same with NIM. I did a developer conference in South Korea, and I made a bounty for $800 to have a developer cryptographically link their Twitter account with their NIM blockchain account so that they're one and the same. I I gave him some SDKs, I gave him some open source apps, and I thought maybe this would take 2 or 3 weeks if everybody's working really hard. I woke up the next morning and he had delivered me a finished working app, front end and back end, linking his Twitter account to his NIM blockchain account. That developer stayed up all night long, reading the documentation, playing with the SDK, playing with the APIs, and then launched his app for me to review in the morning. He got the $800 bounty. That is the power of building on the NIM blockchain, and that's what we can do in Puerto Rico. When you are down there and you see that there is a way to make the blockchain help Puerto Rico and make the world a better place, this is what you can do. I really suggest that you look into it. We have a new version of NIM that does so many amazing things. I can't even start to go into it. It was open source 2 days ago, and we'll have more and more documentation coming out how to boot up your own chain and how to develop on it in the next week or two. So please, if you're looking for a good blockchain and you want to make the world a better place, check us out. We also have a public version and a private version of NIM, which is really important. And the new version of NIM is being designed to support cross-chain transactions. So you can go from one chain to the other chain really safely and really securely. We've been able to do this with some amazing technology. The NIM developers are the real deal. Enterprise developers that have been working on this latest update for over 30 months, and now it's out. So please come check it out. Are you going to ask me a difficult question?
Dang, is that what I've been doing all day?
Yeah.
But you said something about NIM being very famous outside, but not in the US.
Yeah.
And then we also know that South Koreans are probably the largest, half of the citizens in Korea have wallets.
Yep.
Would I be okay in my assumption saying that America is probably a laggard or on the adoption curve here?
Yes and no. So I hear a lot of people having a theory about why South Korea is doing so well. And I'm telling you, I've been there, I've seen it, I know exactly why it's done so well. South Korean banks are amazing banks. And the irony of the situation is if we want to do really great cryptocurrency, you actually need really good banking. And I know that sounds a little bit silly, but I can literally get into the subway, leave my house, as I'm walking to the subway, transfer money from my bank account to a cryptocurrency exchange, start trading on the subway. By the time I get off the subway, I can cash out of my coin positions, move money back to the bank, and then go spend it at a restaurant and pay with money from my bank at that restaurant. Moving money back and forth between exchanges and banks is really easy. And the reason why is because everybody in South Korea is KYC'd. It's a heavily KYC'd environment. And this is seamlessly going back and forth. So if we want to know when are Americans going to get into cryptocurrency, it's going to happen whenever you go to when you go to Coinbase and there's a little pop-up that says log in with your Citibank account and seamlessly move money from Citibank to Coinbase and back and forth. Because right now we're waiting 3 days when you log in to Coinbase and you register your credit card. And my mom last year during Bitcoin Mania tried to buy Bitcoin and Coinbase turned her down. I don't know why, right?
That's actually a good ad strategy for a competitor for a Coinbase.
Yeah, right? Well, man, if anybody from Coinbase is here, please come talk to me. I have a great idea for you.
Well, I want to continue that line of thought. So what is it about the U.S. banking that they're not able to adopt a model like the South Koreans? What is it about a regulatory scheme which is not able to adopt what the Maltese are doing? Why is it that they have the same 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 legs, we are all equal. Why is it that we are on the far side of the equation here?
We have 50 states in America, and we have a banking system that goes back way before computers. And South Korea is different states, but essentially one strong, powerful federal government. And the minister of something in South Korea can basically say, everybody update. And all the banks in South Korea have to update. And in America, if you try to get all the banks to do something, like in South Korea, going from swipe to chip was somebody high up saying, everybody go to chip, and everybody went to chip. In South Korea, going to touch to pay, where the guy said, okay, now everybody do touch to pay on phones or cards. It's like, boom, now everybody, all my credit card, I don't even have to use the chip anymore in South Korea. I just beep it wherever I go, and now I can pay. So we need that kind of, coherent strategy, whether the banks or the people bring it upon themselves or somebody from a top down says to do it. It doesn't matter, but we need to get everybody on the same page and to update.
So what you're saying is for us to spread decentralization, we need a centralized authority figure.
It's messed up, right? Okay, so I think that there's different ways to the end goal. I think that having somebody, a centralized authority figure saying everybody upgrade to decentralized technology is a super easy way to do it. I think a situation like but I don't think that's going to happen because centralized authorities don't want to go to decentralization. I mean, if somebody did, that would be great, but they don't want to. What would happen is, like in South Korea, where a government has already made things run very well, somebody who's decentralized come and takes advantage of it. That's why, literally, my girlfriend's mother, like this old grandmother type lady, is literally buying and selling Bitcoin by swiping on her phone. People think that like it's kids in South Korea that are buying and selling Bitcoin. It's a lot of women too, and a lot of grandmothers are into trading cryptocurrencies in South Korea. It's crazy. I know one grandmother that's mining Ethereum through the cloud in South Korea. That because they just make it easy to click. So Puerto Rico gives us another example. Instead of having a centralized person say yes, or instead of having a system, we can go into a system that's basically broken already, which all the centralized systems in one way or another, whether we know it or not, are broken. We can go into Puerto Rico and say, hey, your system's broken. we are going to fix it right for the first time, and we can basically start over with a decentralized model. This is going to be a radical experiment, and that's what blockchain is about, radical experimentation. And I think this is a great time and a great area to do it.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Thank you.